Hello everyone and welcome to the live session for week 7. This week we're talking about training users, conversions, and evaluations, final testing and installation, help desk and training documentation, and inspections and training documentation. I have that twice. For the discussion, you're to talk about define and identify under what circumstances these processes, and it's talking about the training of users, conversions, and evaluations. When should they occur? And why are they necessary? And what might happen if one or all these are not completed? At least 100 words and at least one APA reference. 3 replies to other learners, and all your posts must cover at least 3 days. The initial post is due Wednesday and the replies are due Sunday. Assignment 1 is an APA formatted paper. You're to explain how system analysts got off track in their approach to training. Outline the steps you would take to ensure that the right people at cram track are trained. Suggest how the web might be used to assist in the training, and identify other methods that can be used to assist in the training. At least one page in the body. You do need a title page, the body and the reference page, and you are supposed to have at least one reference. Do not forget that you need the introduction and conclusion, and be sure to check your spelling and grammar, and due Sunday by 11:59. Assignment 1 is assessment, so there is only one submission allowed. Assignment 2 is another APA formatted paper. You're supposed to identify what you tell Cindy about evaluating her own team and justify your comments. One paper, one page in the body. You need a title, a body, and a reference page. You need an introduction and a conclusion, and at least one reference. Be sure to check your spelling. It's due on Sunday. Then the quiz is 40 questions. It's actually the final exam. And it's 40 questions. It can only be taken once. It's due on Sunday. And Sunday is also the due date for all other work that might be missing or any corrections that you're going to make. Things to know. A human-computer interaction method where explicit statements are entered into a system to invoke operations refers to a command language interaction. Basic duties for controlling forms. Make sure that each form is in use fulfills its specific purpose. Designing effective forms. Making sure that the specified purpose is integral to the organizational functioning. Decide on how to get forms reproduced in the most economical way. A list box on a graphical interface is used to perform an action. Guidelines for displaying screen design. Keep the screen simple. Keep the screen presentation consistent, and facilitate user movement among screens. Forms of electronic output include fax, email, bulletin board messages. A class diagram is a structural diagram. An option button or radio button on a graphical user interface is used for manually exclusive choices. Useful design elements to make forms attractive include type fonts, line weights, separating categories and subcategories, proper layout, and flow. At the stage of full systems testing with test data, operators and end users become actively involved in testing. Behavioral things describe how things work. Advantage of modular programming are tracing an error in a module is less complicated, modules are easier to maintain, and modules are easier to grasp. Procedure manuals contain background comments, steps to accomplish different transactions, instructions on how to recover from problems, and troubleshooting. Structural diagrams are used to show the relationship between classes. Behavioral diagrams are used to show the interaction between people and a use case. An attribute entity is used to represent repeating groups. The symbol used to represent additional attributes of another entity that may not be present on every record of the first entity is called an entity subtype. When animation is used to support decision making, a higher quality decision will be made when realistic rather than abstract images are used. When the user clicks on a point in an image map, the corresponding X and Y coordinates are sent to the program. When a system is tested with normal transactions, variations are added, including invalid data, used to ensure that the system can properly detect errors. Podcasting is the technique of putting downloadable voice files on the web. Domain refers to the set of all data types and values that an attribute can assume. Sliders and spin buttons are used to change data that has a continuous range of values. Guidelines for modular programming are: keep each module to a manageable size, pay particular attention to the critical interfaces, maintain the hierarchical relationship set up in the top-down phases. Reasons that systems and programs are undocumented or underdocumented include problems with the system and programs. Systems analysis and programmers may fail to document systems properly because they do not have the time or are not rewarded for the time spent documenting. Push technology is used to send solicited or unsolicited information to a customer or client. A primary key is one of the data and items in a record that uniquely identifies a record. Many data types can be packed into a field. The field can be read and converted to a number of data items. A technique for showing a user where they are in a website by placing a series of tabs on a web page that shows the user where they are and where they have been best describes cookie crumbs. Good situations for using video clips are providing brief training episodes that are job specific, showing how to perform an action, or distance collaboration. A use case model describes what a system does without describing how the system does. An entity subtype is an entity that is used to represent a one-to-one relationship. A use case describes the actor that initiates the event, a use case that performs the actions, the event that triggers the use case. A perforated form leaves a stub behind as a record when separated. The fewer data couples and control flags in the system, the easier it is to change the system. RSS is not limited to news but can be used to keep track of the latest revision of a book or manuscript. Besides the obvious advantage of clarifying the logic and relationship found in human languages, structured English has another important advantage as a communication tool. Online manuals on websites should include an FAQ page and downloadable updates. Attribute is used interchangeably with the word data item. Sequence data dictionary entries become simple, structured English statements in a sequence. The most widely used interface method is a menu interaction. When structured decisions are not complex, an appropriate technique for analyzing the decision process is the use of structured English. I hope this helps when you go to take the final. That's all I have for this week. I got my most of my information came out of Kindle and Kindle. Please let me know if you have any questions, and good luck with this week's assignments and the final exam.